All right, welcome. Let's just forget everything you think you know about clever comebacks. Today, we're doing a serious, and I mean serious, strategic analysis of verbal combat. We are going to break down the key components of the perfect roast, all to guarantee your victory in, well, just about any fight. And right there, that's the core problem, isn't it? When you're in a high-stress moment, really emotional, your brain just kind of short circuits. It gets really tough to come up with a good comeback. Now, that's not some personal failing. It's a totally normal psychological hurdle. And today, we're going to learn how to leap right over it with a clear, tactical plan. So that's the big question. The goal is simple, right? Total domination. What we're doing here is providing a definitive, battle-tested arsenal of insults. Each one is designed for maximum impact. Think of this as your new playbook for, verbal warfare. Okay, but before we go any further, a really important warning. The weapons we're about to go over are incredibly powerful. I'm not kidding. These techniques are designed to be psychologically devastating, so please, you have to be extremely careful with how you use them. Our whole strategy is based on a three-tier system. It's all about escalation. We start with what we call the opening salvo, just to establish who's in charge. Then we move on to the psychological assault to really get in their head. And finally, we wrap it all up with the finishing move to lock in that victory. So let's jump right into Tier 1, the opening salvo. The whole point here is to land that first punch, to assert your dominance from the get-go. And this is our first weapon. The power of this word, it's in its almost silly nature. It's non-threatening, which is exactly why it works. It completely catches your opponent off guard. It hints at foolishness without making things too heated too fast. Analytically speaking, it is the perfect opening move. And there it is. Looks simple, I know, but it is so effective. Dingus. It's just a clean, sharp opening shot. Okay, so you've established superiority. Now it's time to escalate to Tier 2. This is where we move beyond simple name-calling and we get into the real stuff, psychological warfare. We're going to target their very core sense of who they are. Diaper boy. Now this is not just an insult. No, it's a precisely engineered psychological weapon. It basically makes the target feel like a child, right? It attacks their sense of maturity and puts them completely on the defensive. It's a direct hit on their most basic insecurities. You can just feel the increase in intensity here. Diaper boy. It's a major step up from Dingus, and it's built to get a purely emotional reaction. Okay, I have to pause here and just bring up that warning again. The final tier, you do not use this one lightly. The potential for, and I'm serious, lasting psychological trauma it's significant. We have now arrived at the absolute apex of our arsenal. This is the final blow, the one that there's really no coming back from, the finishing move. This is it. The ultimate weapon. See, it works on this really primal social level. It uses exclusion and rejection as a weapon. It's a statement of social banishment that's so deep, so fundamental, that it goes way beyond any other kind of insult. And look, this chart makes the difference in power totally clear. On our emotional damage index, you can see that while Dingus and Diaper Boy have a pretty big impact, being uninvited from the party causes this catastrophic, just exponential spike in emotional trauma. The data doesn't lie. So remember this. Victory isn't about just throwing out random insults. It's about methodical escalation. If you master this three-tier system, psychological dominance is basically guaranteed. But this knowledge is a burden. It's a grave responsibility, so please use it wisely. And so we're going to leave you with this final thought. You now hold the keys to verbal devastation, the power to completely dismantle an opponent's psyche. It's in your hands now. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it?